Speaking of being sentimental for a bygone time, I'm not the only one who is sentimental for times past. You know, sometimes I go out, like I say, I went to a bar, and it reminded me of back in my heyday before I was married with children, with a family, when I would go out and spend all night in the clubs, as it were. And
even that sounds so
yes,
incongruent with you.
But I'm not the only one who gets sentimental for a bygone era. Here is Pat Robertson talking about how times have changed in terms of gay people, and gosh, what a shame.
I think you got to remember from the Bible, you look carefully at the Bible, what would have happened in Jesus' time if two men decided they wanted to cohabit together. They would have been stoned to death. So Jesus would not have baked them a wedding cake, nor would he have made them a bed to sleep in, because they wouldn't have been there. But we don't have that in this country here, so that's the way it is. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to recognize what I said a few years ago. At that point, homosexual marriage was condemned. Homosexuality itself was considered a pathology. And now those who were practicing that activity have turned and become the oppressors of those who hold to deeply held religious points of view. The tables have turned, and I think it's just the way it is. But why?
The tables have turned. We no longer, you see, Christians have become the oppressed because we no longer have the ability to stone the homosexual, and therefore our tendons and muscles in our shoulders have atrophied, and it has now weakened we have Christians going around with an inability to exercise their shoulders by throwing rocks at gay people, making it impossible for a Christian to do Christian things. Never mind, like, pick up a fork and eat. It is now so much harder for a true Christian man to take his arm and use it in service by, keeping his wife in line. And so, therefore, because the God-fearing Christians do not have the ability to provide corporal redirection to their wives, you see things like women voting or women getting jobs or having sexual relations. So ipso facto, our inability to stone the homosexual has allowed women to have sex.
I love the logic of that, though, that there was an amazing progression there. He goes, time was we could stone people to death. Now we're oppressed. How so?
We can't do that here in America. That's just the way it is.
We used to be able to murder them. Now we cannot.
No. We are oppressed because we no longer have the ability to oppress. And so that's how we're oppressed, is that we've had something ripped from us. And that, of course, the ability to, oppress the gays. So
police chief would help you hide the body of a gay fella that you had stoned. Now they'll file a hate crimes report out on you. That's just where we are.
So oppressed.
But why?
Why all the gayness? God is just testing us. He's like, are you ready to come up to the big leagues? Can you pitch from that 90 feet? And we need to build up our arm muscles. Could someone wheel me off out of here now?